Hey friends, how's it going? Here is a hand-painted oil paint, to be exact, canvas of Sir Mitty Kitty. Isn't it beautiful? We commissioned a painter a few years ago to paint this cat, and it's a black cat, and we didn't have a cat at that point that was black. Isn't that funny? I could see Mitty Kitty approaching years and years and years and years before he ever arrived. Very cool. This is an Edwardian era top, the collar, Victorian collar and all, with Egyptian cuffs, and then you have the bastet from Egypt. That look, the claw and everything. So he's very, very beautiful. That's how spooky my house actually is. Spooky. Hey friends, how's it going? Told you all I was going to make a video about some of the things that have been happening here. This is the back staircase. So I am working on trying to figure out what kind of energy is here in the house. Let me get this open. Hey friends, how's it going? It's June 30th, 2025, and it was about 100 today, and we're having a storm. It passed through, and it's just a beautiful thing to sit outside and honestly just take in the beauty of the environment that was created for us. So in one of my previous videos, I said I was going to go ahead and tell you guys some of the things that have been happening here, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you something else actually, because something else occurred last night and I have to get it out of my system, like talk about it. And everyone in the world has their own archetype. So you have your athletes, your comedians, your nurse, your helper, nurse, doctor, EMT, you have your law enforcement, you have your other archetypes. There's many of them. If you look up Carl Jung, you'll be able to follow along what I'm saying with the archetypes. Just type that in, Carl Jung archetypes. And then there are people who are like me, psychic, very, very psychic. And, you know, after having a long career of having done metaphysical and paranormal psychic work for decades, when I retired, I closed the door. And it's just not like anything elaborate. You know, like I didn't have to, you know, build a fire and go around it counterclockwise 66 times while chanting, you know, something backwards in Latin. None of that to close the door. It's just basically you stop focusing in on anything that could be information that's paranormal. You just literally just turn the volume down in your head and you change the channel. Wow, that's cool. He came all the way up here, this frog. So that's what you do, at least that's what I did. And I worked as a master psychic for decades and decades. And wrote books and produced 67 movies, and with the help of my partner, I had many brick and mortar businesses. Worked with many celebrities, but, you know, the whole nine. Like what people really strive for in the metaphysic world is to have recognition. That's what most practitioners are seeking. They're seeking money and they're seeking recognition. Those are two things that I never felt comfortable with at all. I never felt comfortable with either of those things. I just figured my needs are being met, and if I can help other people, hey, I go into detail with things that really don't matter these days. Like I feel like when I shut the door to it, it's just that part of me I wanted to kind of let rest. But unfortunately, once I took possession of this property here, 1887 built, I'm always drawn, let me get back to that. I'm always drawn to really old properties, really old businesses, really old ways, really old mannerisms. I'm just drawn to it. And I'm drawn to certain areas too. In the world, I'm drawn to them. And that's called foot track magic, by the way. It means somewhere you have actually foot tracked those destinations before you were who you are today. So if that makes any sense. We're talking about reincarnation right now, right then, and you're talking about how in your last life, hey, maybe you were in Egypt, you know. So it's called foot track. I actually coined that term myself, foot track experiences. So anyway, getting back to the paranormal stories, as soon as we took possession of this property, I kind of knew intuitively right away that there would be breakthroughs that happen here. So breakthrough experiences are when you're not looking for an experience psychically, and you're not looking to work, and you're not looking to have anything to talk about with this path. You're just kind of, it's breakthrough. It happens, and then it's your job to say, hey, wow, I had an experience. And do I want to shine a light on that? Because what you shine light on grows. And what you keep in the dark stays that way. It stays in the dark. It stays. It stays on the other side and it doesn't break through. So I wasn't looking for paranormal experiences when we took this property. I just thought it would be very peaceful and beautiful and everything. But things have been happening and they're breaking through. The more, like I said, the more attention you pay to it, the more that it grows and it intensifies. Just like negativity or positivity, the same thing. It's crazy how it all plays together as one big beautiful theater. So I'm going to tell you, friends, about an experience I had last night and exactly what I experienced. And leave me a comment below if you've had any experiences that are similar. Okay, that would be very welcomed. All right, so last night, now I stay up super late, and I'm talking 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes daybreak before I even go to sleep. My husband also. So around 4:30 in the morning, I was finally winding down enough to fall asleep. And I started thinking about something that had happened earlier in the day. And what had happened earlier in the day was, during the daytime hours is what I mean, I was in the pool and my husband was like walking around in the pool area, and I said, wow, did you see that? And he's like, what? And I'm like, a silver orb, like the size of a softball, was floating in above one of the barns, right about here. And by the time I told my husband to look, it just was like the speed of light. It left so quick out of that spot in the sky that it was just gone. So I thought, well, here I go trying to defend my actions and sell some thoughts to you guys, right? Because am I looking for approval? I don't know. But the orb disappeared and he looked, and of course he didn't see it. And I thought, well, maybe I was seeing a commercial plane, like something from the light playing with a plane in the sky I can't see, or something, just anything but a silver orb. So I went about my day and I didn't really think much else about that. I just kind of went about my day and we went to bed, and around 4:30 in the morning, all the lights were off in our room, and I always have a fan on. I'm like kind of a weirdo with that, but I always have a fan on even in the winter. I like cannot sleep without a fan. The sound of it. So it doesn't have to be on me, but it has to be on. So it's kind of like a white noise background, but with a fan. And the flow of air helps me too, even if it's not on me. So guys, around 4:30 or so, I think, I woke up. Now listen to what I'm going to say very closely. I was laying in my bed, lights off, fan is on, the whole house is silent. And I woke up to seeing something coming from the ceiling of my bedroom. And it is dark in my room, but there are like things plugged in so you can see There's a little bit of ambient light in my room, but not much. Just enough that you wouldn't like trip over something if you had to get up and walk. So I saw something coming down from the ceiling, and it looked to me like the size of a soccer ball, and it was an intense sapphire blue orb. A floating sphere is what an orb is, or a floating ball of energy in the metaphysical world. Some believe, a lot of cultures believe, that those are spirits in travel, and I must agree. All except for ball lightning, which we can still say ball lightning could be a spirit in travel. And, or it can be ball lightning. So the blue soccer-sized orb was coming down like something like if you watched the ball drop on New Year's Eve. It was coming straight at me, like slowly, but coming towards me. And I realized at that point it got really close to my face, and I put my hands up in a stance to try to protect myself from this energy, because I didn't know what it was at that point, what its intentions were. And when I went to put my hands up in the defense position, I realized that I could only move my eyes and I had no control over my body. So I was in something called full sleep paralysis. It's happened to me a few times in my life, and it is by far scary, because you realize that you cannot move your body because your brain has awakened and your body is not synchronized with that. So your body is not awake, but your brain is, so you're awake. So anyway, I'm realizing that I can't defend from this orb ball. I can't stop it. I can't do anything. I can't even scream or talk because I'm in full sleep paralysis. To go a little bit further with that, it means that you are in between synchronized sleep and REM state. Okay. It's all over the internet if you want to look it up for facts, or why you think it might be interesting to check it out. But the orb, as it got closer to the front of my forehead, mind you, all I have control of is my eyes at this point. It clearly had a tuning fork sound hum coming from it, and it was very not scary to me, but I just realized and recognized that it was making that noise. It was coming from it. As I lay there and I couldn't move, and I'm just following it with my eyes, it literally went from the top of my forehead and went around my entire body. My entire body form was traced by this orb. And I could feel the energy vibration from this energy itself barely touching my skin, like if you were to have goosebump, that type of feeling. And it scanned, and I say scanned because it intuitively knew that this energy was scanning me. The interesting thing about this whole thing is, for the past 3 days, I've had excruciating body pain on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10. And I think it's from just all the heavy work I've been doing with the mulch and the farm work and stuff. And one day, a couple days ago, I really put in some time. And so I was in a lot of pain when I went to bed. Even ibuprofen hasn't been enough to take away the pain I've had. So as I'm kind of absorbing all the stuff that's going on, and I realized that this, like I said, intuitively, I knew it was scanning. And it was so strange because I was like in a suspended state at that point, because you can't move with sleep paralysis. Right when I thought, I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know how long this is going to go on for, but it felt like it went on for a while. And as I got to that last thought, how long is this going to go on for? This has been going on for a while. I felt my body thrust down and back, and it felt like I had been dropped from a very high position, but yet weighted down, like with a lot of weight on me. So I felt honestly like 1,000 pounds of pressure push me back and down. And I could feel everything about that experience on my body. I could feel my body being pushed down into the bed and very forcefully pushed back. As soon as I felt that, the very next thing that happened was, and this blue orb had come back around full circle, right back to the front view of right here in front of me. And as soon as I felt that last pressure back and down, I immediately, you couldn't even blink, and I was thrust forward. And I felt like I carried forward like 20 to 30 foot in front of where I would have been laying. Like I literally felt my energy expand and down through my feet and out into the room. And I got very, very concerned at that point. And when I did, the orb was right here in my view. It flew back with me, forward with me. And it started to break into pieces, and it went right up through the ceiling. So it literally just kind of like boiled down, and you could see it. It looked like little droplets, like it had broken up, and then it went up through the ceiling. At that point, I actually woke up again, a second time. I know this is going to be hard to understand, but when you're in sleep paralysis, you yourself, you as the person, will go through a waking period a second time. When you already think you're awake with sleep paralysis, you are awake, but you're not connected to your body. So when you wake for the second time, you will wake up, and usually that is when you can move your body, the second awakening. You awake again, and then you'll realize that you can move. And it has passed. The sleep paralysis has left you, and you're corrected. After that happened and I woke, I laid there and I'm like, I should wake up my husband right now and tell him what happened. And I decided not to. I was like, no, this is something I'm not going to tell him right now at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll tell him later on in the day. When I woke up like that the second time, I realized that my whole entire sides of my hair and face were saturated because I had been crying. And I don't remember any of it. I don't remember that part at all. I just had a saturated hairline and saturated face. There is one thing additional that I could say. I would consider it a little strange. and definitely not coincidental, is this morning when I fell back to sleep after that incident, of course, and this morning when I woke up yet again, I did not have 1%, 1 ounce of pain anywhere in my body. All of the pain that I had felt, especially for the past 3 days, was completely eradicated. Today, I was running up and down the staircases. I was just, there is nothing. And let God strike me dead where I'm sitting. I was racked for the past 72 hours, even to a point of the day before it occurred, that occurred, which was this morning. So yesterday I had taken 2 full strength big prescription ibuprofen. And I also took two 650 Tylenol, the arthritis formula. Excuse me. What I'm getting at is, I believe that my incident and experience, what happened to me, I think that I was scanned and healed from the body pain. And with all the experiences I've had in my lifetime, it would blow your mind. If I sat and talked to you and told you the things that have happened to me, and it would blow your mind. You wouldn't believe any of it. You'd say, you're stark mad. But I wouldn't care, because I know what I've experienced. He's cute. I'll have to give him a name too. So beyond this experience, as far as moving orbs of light, which are energy. Now, to guarantee what kind of energy those are, nobody really knows. We don't know if those are people we know or we don't know, or it is some type of other energy that exists, or is it a communicative type, consciousness. We really don't know what orbs are, but it's the first time that I've had anything like that happen in my life, with an orb coming during a sleep paralysis incident. However, going on the topic that I'm on right now, the Spears orb. We used to sell these charts in my shops, and they were orb charts. They would tell you, it was like $2 or something, guys. It wasn't expensive, but it was a colored, illustrated chart that would have all the circles that would come down, and it would show, because orbs are circles. You would be able to look at that and say, okay, well, I caught a bright orange orb in my picture. Here's what it means. I caught a purple one on camera. This is what it means. Remember one thing, colored orbs all have a meaning. Every single orb color has a meaning. But so going back to what happened to me this morning, the blue was like something I've never encountered in my life. Like, it was the most pleasant, beautiful, rich, very rich. Like looking at an amethyst, a diamond, a sapphire, a tanzanite, an emerald, like the most beautiful gemstones that are here on earth. It was just very, very beautiful sapphire. It was very, very beautiful. Almost looked like glass. It was so pretty, but it was also I don't know. It didn't really feel like to me like there was any sex with this thing, like female energy, male energy. It was just consciousness. It just felt like a very high state of consciousness was within that ball. So I have a few stories in my life I can think of. I actually have two other very, very cool orb stories that would just blow your mind. And I'm going to go ahead, I'll probably tell you guys about those two experiences, but not on this video. I had one when my daughter was only 6 months. That's one story I'll bring to you in the future. And I had another one, probably the level of these two, a 10 out of like the crazy strangeness of what had happened. So I will bring those two stories to you guys in the future. But yeah, I just wanted to focus on telling you guys what happened to me this morning. So along with what occurred, the night before, okay, I kind of was coming out of my husband's office, and I don't know how to even, it's going to sound insane, but I was coming out of his office, and he was in his office sitting at his computer, which looks like a task force office, because there's computers and he just goes back and forth in the office, rolling between his computers. So I was exiting my husband's office, and something flew from the base of my staircase and flew directly up into my face. And it's kind of dark right there when you come out of his office, but I could see that it was a super brilliant silver orb around the size of, I'd say, like a quarter. And it came straight at me and went straight through my face, back out through the other side. And I actually jumped and said, "What was that?" Because I thought I had come into contact with some kind of flying insect. I was checking all over, like my hair, to see if it was on my hair. I had him looking and stuff, and nothing, because it had went through me. And then I had the incident in the morning with the blue orb. So as soon as a psychic person who has been retired, I'm telling you, it's just insane. As soon as you say, or as soon as I say, I should say this, is bring it back to myself because it's my experience, is I don't want to do anything paranormal anymore. I don't want to have experiences anymore. I don't want to feel like an outsider. I understand things, and I understand very little in the vast knowledge of the world. So even though you could be a master at one subject and still be an infant in the universe, you understand? But you can learn enough to keep yourself going and keep yourself kind of, I use my gift to challenge myself. I challenge myself. And I challenge myself because I know that this is not a full and true reality that I am interacting in. I know this. It cannot be. It cannot be. We are literally spinning at 1100 plus miles per hour counterclockwise. This is not a true reality. This is a grid system. And I would not doubt if the brain that we have inside of us is not our headset. Thus, we cannot take it off. We cannot. And they knew that when they created what they created, the system. The headset must be encased. You may not take it off. So, pretty interesting. But I believe so intense that this is not a true reality, that there is mind-blowing alternatives past this. I also believe that we do not have the comprehension to understand or to know. But with that story, guys, like I said earlier, let God strike me dead if I am in any way making anything up. I do not want to seem like I am just sitting here making up a story, because I'm not. That is what happened. I hope everyone's doing well. And if any of you out there have any type of experiences that involve sleep paralysis, just know that you're not alone. It is a phenomenon. It can come from medical reasons. You could have a different medication that causes it. You could have a sleep disorder that causes it. PTSD and all types of trauma could potentially cause sleep paralysis as well. But when you take sleep paralysis and you have experiences with things that are visual, involve your hearing, and involve a complete and total immersion in an experience that you can't explain, that is when you can say that sleep paralysis is just sleep paralysis. Okay, when you have sleep paralysis, you're going to not be able to move. You're going to be immobile. And a lot of times the doctors will tell you will have hallucinatory experiences and everything. But I guess I should say, because of the way that they happen, especially my experience this morning, when you wake up and you have no more body pain and you've had 3+ days of super heavy joint pain and pain. And it's gone and eradicated, and there's no signs of it at all. You don't even have a tender spot. You have nothing. I'm grateful for that, and I thank the Creator for that as well. Paranormal breakthroughs it's like a dam, just a dam that has held back metaphysical experiences from your conscious state. It's dammed up. And the minute that it starts to break through, there are these cracks. And your conscious state is on one side of that, where you are right now. And on the other side is the part where all those experiences are being contained. To go further and expand on that, what I mean is the minute that you acknowledge within your own voice that you're listening to when you talk, or what you believe is you, the minute that you acknowledge that there has been a break through, you will then begin having a lot of experiences that more than likely will be not little bumps in the night. They will be larger scale experiences. At least mine would be, because of the amount of energy that I have the ability to harness and also release. So I can do both. I can pull and I can push back. Either of those energies. And with my type of intuition, it's really interesting to watch reality shift. So that's the story, guys. Leave me a comment, like I said. Feel free to leave me a comment if you've had any type of experiences with sleep paralysis, guys. I would love to hear your stories. It's a very, very uncommon physical event for people. You'll be lucky if you meet one person in your life who will tell you, at least admit to you, that they've had sleep paralysis. So, off to another note, we are closing in quickly for our international travel, and we are just prepping out to be able to leave without any, all the things that you do before you leave for vacation, just kind of prepping out. I'm a little worried about Kitty of the Corn getting his kitty food at 9 o'clock every night, but tonight I don't know where he is. The storm must have kept him back, but he'll be here, I'm sure, guys, to get his food, because there it is. But yeah, so we may get an auto feeder for the porch for him so he can come up and eat. There will be people here taking care of the property in the house, but Kitty of the Corn, I'm going to get him a feeder. So he's always going to have food while we're gone. So anyway, I hope everyone's, like I said, having a very good day or night wherever you are. I have so many stories, and I'm just going to start telling them. Take care.